another. Let's reason with one another. From a scriptural discussion with the Son of Man. And our broadcast every Sunday at 12 on TV33. That's an 88.1 that we place together in content table. So why don't you call and let's discuss the Holy Bible? If you have one, wherever we go out, and come to an agreement about the Holy Scripture and the truth things. So tune in to a scriptural discussion with the Son of Man. Every Sunday at 12 right here on TV33. That's an 88.1 that we place together in content table. If you can call in live on the air, that area code 363-436-4336, 363-436-4336, and 363-4351. The area code 313. That's 363-436-4336, 363-4346, and 363-4351. And now let's go live to the scriptural discussion with the Son of Man.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, the Truthful, and the Most Just. I greet all of you who have the hunger and thirst for righteousness. I greet you all with the greeting words of peace. May Allah's Salam Alaikum. Before I get started, I want to give those who have disagreements with me the opportunity to present it. You know, there's so much craziness going on. Now, here you just heard about 300 priests and stuff. I don't know if they've been indicted yet, but, you know, they have misused over 1,000 people, young people. And so people are very, I mean, the religious world has been filled with false preachers, false prophets. In the book of Matthew, the 7th chapter, you know, when you see a person have a sign up on their house, on their gate, it said, "Beware of dog." Well, you know that it's dog. It is at least one dog out there in that yard somewhere, even if you don't see him. Is that right? And so when you say beware of him, they're saying watch out for him. Huh? Look what Jesus said here in the 7th chapter of Matthew. Beware of false prophets. Why? You notice, even though you were told to watch out for false prophets, false representatives of so-called representatives of God. We were all, that's right here in the book. The warning is right there. Huh? How many of you all, when you go to church, did you ever think about that and look at that preacher and say, I wonder if he one of them? No, you didn't. Even though it's just like these people keep looking for something with Donald Trump. as though they don't have no remedy for what he's doing. If you say he's, as the president, trying to punish now a private citizen by stripping him of his security clearance because he's criticized the president, then the president's supposed to be already sworn to uphold the Constitution, which guarantees the man freedom of speech. It didn't say except when he says something negative about the president. So, I mean, the remedy is the oath of office that he took and the oath that he's now violating the Constitution. Huh? He got on there while the Constitution guarantees freedom of the press. He gets on there and tell the people that the press is the enemy of the people. So, I mean, I don't need to explain this to white people. White people, this their country. If they want to let him do that to them, that's them, Putin punked him and he punking you. So that's all right. But anyway, let me go ahead, leave y'all alone to y'all, because I know you thinking in your mind, nigga, it ain't none of your business. So, all right, ain't none of my business. Now, let's come on, I can't even get a conversation with the Klan no more. I can't get a conversation with nobody. You know why you don't want to conversate with me? It's because I know the truth. And you also know that I can look inside of your heart and tell everybody what you're thinking. Even when you call yourself talking past us. Well, I think I do need to know what people are thinking.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
You wanted to be reminded about teaching on everybody having a price.
Oh, you ever heard people say everybody got a price? You ever heard that before? Well, it's just like when it thank you, baby. When I looked at the little sister, Omarosa, that well, she appeared to have a price too. But I got a feeling, when people say she'll do anything for money. Well, if she'll do anything for money, why didn't she take that $15,000 a month like all the rest of them people out there? Can you imagine what you could do with $15,000 a month? That's a good little piece of change. Huh? Why didn't she take it? Tell me. Well, she probably reasoned that she could get more out of a book deal. I mean, when you look at the things that she's bringing out, you don't know how long she's been talking to Robert Mueller now. What you think everybody, crooks always think that everybody else around them is a crook. That's the kind of statement that you get from people who do have a price. They say everybody got their price. They got to say that because if they think some people don't have a price, then that makes them look bad. You know how people say, well, everybody else doing it, right? So that is when you hear someone say that everybody got a price, that's a person that you can't trust. Because they just told you that they got a price. A price for what? Turn on my country if you give me enough money. I'll turn on my mama. Turn on my daddy. I'll turn on anybody. You got enough money. That's what they're telling you. You better wake up. Look, the human body was made for one purpose, and that is to convey what the mind is thinking. Ain't no secrets. That's why it's written that Allah is the knower of subtleties. You know, people, and then when you call them on something that they thinking, they say, I wasn't thinking that. I don't know what you made me think. What do you mean? Your body done told on you. The Holy Quran said they would say, "Oh skins, why have you borne witness against us? Because he who made everything else bear witness made us to bear witness." The intelligence community now speaking up. You know, I don't understand how all y'all seem to check your intelligence. You check it in and check it out. You know, it like somebody going to a swimming pool and putting their clothes in a wall locker or whatnot until they get out the pool. That's a dangerous thing to do with your intellect. That's a very dangerous thing, to put it on and take it off and put it on and take it off. You better stop playing with yourself. How is it that you understand that if I remember looking at Serpico and they said it was based on a true story. I know another one with Denzel Washington. When he played that brother that was selling drugs? Huh? So what? Training day. No, there wasn't no training day. It's about this brother that was he was importing cocaine from American Gangster. That's it, American Gangster. Now, when they finally caught him and wanted him to make a deal, he said in so many words, no, you don't want everybody. The man told him, yes, I want everybody. And he looked at him and said, you sure you want everybody? In so many words, because a lot of the people who was helping him and was on his payroll was police. They was on the police force. Now, in the end, the FBI, now this is based on a true story. In the end, the FBI went around arresting all them. They didn't say police. They stopped calling them police. They started calling them criminals. Do you understand? You lose the title police when you start criminal activity. How y'all let this man sit up there and calling himself the president, committing all these criminal acts? Since when is the president of the United States a criminal? Anyway, I said I'm going to leave that alone then. So I'm going to leave it alone. All right. You know, I'm the kind of person that when I see something, that's what Allah chose me for. He said, son of man, I have made thee a watchman. You know, a watchman, and it is necessary if he's a watchman, especially when I was in the Marine Corps, when you had guard duty. Over in Nam, we was up in a tower. And, you know, you had your starlight scope and had your flak jacket, your helmet, your M16, and and you watching, you know, and you was looking. So, you know, you need a high place to have a vantage so that things you have an objective view. And where you gonna see people crawling on the ground if you on the ground? Okay. So, you know, I told you a long time ago that your Congress was full of traitors, and I told you that this man that you was electing for president didn't have no business being elected for president. He had no business running, and you all agreed with it. You agreed that he didn't have no business being president, and you put him in there anyway. I'd like to suggest this to you, to the intelligent white people, which is a lot of. Before you let a man occupy the office of president, one of the first things you should require is that he is a patriot, and he should, you know, it's not interfering with the right of people to run for the highest office in the land. But in order to run for the highest office in the land and be credible to run for it, don't you think that they should have security clearance? I mean, what? Just anybody can just run for president? Don't need no security clearance or nothing? What are you doing? If they required a security clearance, Donald Trump wouldn't be president now. I'm just telling you, any time a person, see, you didn't really have that problem as much as you do now until you removed your safeguards from your political system. One of the best safeguards that you had was limiting the amount of money that millionaires and billionaires, that anybody could contribute to the political process, because you understood that you didn't want nobody buying elections. You see? I'll tell you something else that when it comes to the safety of America, when it comes to the safety of your country, you have a right to put safeguards on the electoral process. You don't use your electoral process as a you need to stop all of the capitalizing off of the electoral process. You know, if people have something to accuse someone who's running, when it comes time for elections, this is how it should be done. There should be a certain channel or certain stations that the people can view during the time for elections, and they can get an honest look at who's running and real debates. And if there's evidence that people been doing something they ain't got no business, they can put it out there and not put false ads out and all that kind of foolishness. Now, I'm just trying to show you how you could protect yourself. And you know, if Congress, if you get a Congress in there that's really, or even the FBI, I'll talk to them. I'll be glad to sit down and talk to you and share some ideas with you on how you can protect your country. Be glad to. So there's, you know, I hate to see this go so long like it has went. But, you know, it's certain things that I can't change. It's certain things that you do have to answer for as a people that you have done to others. But Allah ain't through with America yet. And I told these people, you better go on. You don't like this nation, don't like what this country is growing to. Best thing to do is go on. If you love Russia so much, go to Russia. Live there. But you waking up you're going to regret stirring the pot full of patriots. You know, a patriot is not someone who will go around bullying you. Patriots don't do that. He loses the title patriot when he becomes a bully. A patriot is someone who embraces the value system that they publicly present, and they don't deviate from it even privately. In America got, that's what do you think a Muslim is? A Muslim is somebody who, if he tell you something, you can trust him. That's his word. His word is his bond. The messenger said there are white Muslims in America, and lots of them. He wouldn't have said that if he wasn't telling the truth. The messenger didn't lie to us. It's just like Mr. Brennan. Mr. Brennan, as a private citizen now, he made the same observation that any sane person could make. You need evidence of collusion. Well, what? You need evidence that Trump talking to Russia? Russia, if you're listening, I mean, he already talked to Russia in front of you publicly. You know, that's the one thing about getting into bed with dogs. When you start feeling them fleas biting you, then you understand. And you say, I never should have got down in there with that dog. Well, you in there now. And I'll tell you something. I know why he acting like he acted. You know, I'm not going to, I'm not gonna say nothing because I'm not the kind of person who likes to see. I don't want to bring harm to anyone. The only thing I want to do is get rid of a harmful mind that is pervasive in everybody on this planet. But it takes time. It seems that I have set in motion some things. Well, not so much as me, but my presence have set in motion some things that I can't do nothing about. Because as you scheme and go on against me, you bring chastisement on yourself. Allah gonna protect me. I ain't worried about what you think you might do to me. You ain't gonna do nothing to me. You gonna mess around here and be walking around here, can't blink your eyes, and people gonna be wondering what's wrong with you. Everybody but me. I'm gonna know what's wrong with you. So anyway, just like these storms and stuff that's gone, they ain't telling you everything that's happening to this country. It's all kind of calamities hitting the country. Call some of your people in other states. Ask them what's going on there. You in the day of judgment, and ain't nobody getting away. It's all over the earth. Yeah, you better get yourself in these classes and let me put a new mind in you. Ain't no devils gonna be here after. That's why it's called the hereafter. Here on this earth after the destruction of all wicked. So now I know you don't believe it because you say it's always going to be wrongdoing people. Well, that's what all fools think. I know where you going to say it's going to always be wrongdoing people when the prophet said we look for a new heaven and a new earth wherein dwells righteousness. Do that sound like they thought it was going to always be wrongdoing? No, it ain't going to always be no wrongdoing people. So, but now you remember now, people tell on themselves all the time. When you hear somebody say everybody got a price, that's one who got a price. Do you understand? A patriot, it don't make no difference what you offer a man that loves his country. It don't make no difference what you offer a man that loves his family to betray them. He ain't going to take it. And matter of fact, if you ain't careful, he going to take you. Now, I'm just telling you, people tell you that, man tell you that he's a patriot, that he will give his life for his country. Then you better read between the lines. But anyway, most people stupid. In order to understand a patriot, you have to be one. Then you understand how dangerous they are to enemies of that which they love. So, now you playing games trying to wrap yourself up in the flag. A patriot is the flag. His flag ain't something that he wear. It's something that he is. It's just like you don't see me wearing no rings and stuff with the crescent and star on them and all that kind of stuff. Not that I condemn it or whatnot if somebody want to do that. I don't wear jewelry no way. Period. I stopped wearing jewelry a long time ago. I am the sun, moon, and star. And so, you know, it's not a thing that that's a symbol with me. That's what the messenger was telling you when he said, this flag is not to be taken for a mockery. You know, this is, you know, and I look at some people just like Mr. Brennan, Mr. Mueller, Mr. Rosenstein. I mean, you could just go down the list of some of those generals in the military who have dedicated their lives to defending this country. It's an insult to put a coward over brave men. It's an insult. And that man ain't got no business. He ain't even got no business inheriting John McCain's shoes. And he proved it. Insulting that man. You know, the one thing about what makes a man is that even, let me show you, the Geneva Convention. You know what brought that about? That wasn't drawn up by cowards. That was drawn up by men who were settling their differences through warfare, but agreed that certain things, once you have captured a man, once you have captured him, he's no longer in the fight. It's his duty to try to escape. Why? And you don't condemn him for trying to escape, because if he had captured you, what would you be trying to do? So you respect him. You don't torture him. But only a man would understand that principle. A coward understands nothing. And he the first one to holler please when you get the ups on him. But when he had the ups on you, you can say please all you want. He ain't gonna give you no mercy. Because he's a coward. Just certain things a man won't do to another man. He just won't. No. If I ain't with you, I ain't gonna pretend that I'm with you. No, no, I ain't with you. There's just certain things I can't do. Telling me to help you go up there and gang up on somebody or whatnot. You've seen that when you people come in here to argue with me. I don't call on nobody. I don't let nobody jump in. No, you don't jump in. If I can't stand to deal with people who arguing at me, then I need to shut up. Not have a group of dogs sitting around waiting to sick them. Oh, coward. A coward will turn you into one if you let him. He go and start something and tell you, hey, go there and get him. Go get him. And tell him you go get him. You started it. Anyway, it's just certain things I can't be quiet about. I mean, I have a duty to speak out against wrong. The prophet said this. Prophet Muhammad, I was told he said it, and it made sense. So I know it was a true statement. He said, when a Muslim sees something wrong, when he sees an injustice, he should do one of three things. All three, preferably. Hate it in his heart, which is the least of it. Look at it and say, that's wrong, in your heart. Speak out against it. And work to change it with his hands. So you got cowards out there. You know, you sit up and you get a gang of people. You get with you a gang, and then you decide you're going to go and terrorize an individual. You a coward, man. Won't you go terrorize him by yourself? You scared he put something on your behind. I told you, you got to bring behind to get behind. It's like that man down there, he talking about he's fearing for his life with an unarmed man, and he knew he had a gun. Now, how you scared of a man who ain't got nothing but his hands, and you got a gun, and you go there and purposely start something with him, and then say you were standing your ground and you shot him? You're of your father, the devil. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth. Remember, Cain rose up against his brother and murdered him because he was jealous and he was afraid. You know he was afraid because when he was asked, where's your brother? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? If you thought you was right for killing, why didn't you just say, he over there laying where I left him? Why didn't he say that? Because he's a coward. He did it, but yet he didn't want to own up to it. If you thought you was justified to kill him, then why don't you say, I killed him and this is why? Anyway, so, you know, you're already dealing with a man that called America's justice system a joke. And now he's showing you that he meant just that. Because everything that your so-called law, and this is how he obviously thinking, your so-called law say he can't do, he doing it. And what kind of people did I say support a liar? Let me show you.
Truck attack killer, the terrorist, the president was sending a signal that the prosecution would somehow be different and by comparison would be better than in past cases. He took the opportunity to criticize the justice system as it now stands. Listen to what he said. We need quick justice and we need strong justice. Much quicker and much stronger than we have right now. Because what we have right now is a joke, and it's a laughing stock. And no wonder so much of this stuff takes place. So much quicker and much stronger than we have right now. Because what we have right now is a joke, and it's a laughing stock right now. Because what we have right now is a joke, and it's a laughing stock. And no wonder so much of this stuff takes place. Because what we have right now is a joke, and it's a laughing stock. And no wonder so much of this stuff takes place. So you're the president.
Now, before I let you hear the rest of this, I want you to think for a minute. It's just like all of you all who support him on the internet, whether it's YouTube or whatever, you get mad every time I say something about him, and then you shut me down and all that old kind of stuff. Just remember something. The freedoms that you have to be on there and shut people off and all that kind of stuff, you won't be doing that under Putin, because you won't be doing that at all. When you don't have sense enough to appreciate what you have, you soon won't have it. You see people all the time don't know what they got, and somebody else beat them out of it. Huh? Say, hey, you out there with a garage sale or whatever. Somebody say, hey, how much you want for this old thing here? Might be a Picasso. It might be real. Say, oh, I had this picture. My grandmama had this thing in her, and you had nerve enough to have this thing in a safe or whatever. What you give me for it? I'll give you $100 for it. What? Yeah, okay. And they go away and say that, you know, that fool sold me this Picasso for $100. I got this for a penny. It's worth millions. I got it for a steal. A dummy had it. It's just like you sit up and you sell yourself, you sell your country out. He that troubleth his own house shall inherit the wind. That's in the scripture. He that troubleth his own house. Where's that at, brother? In Proverbs? The 11th chapter of Proverbs and the 29th verse. It says, he that troubleth his own house shall inherit the wind, and the fool shall be servant to the wise of heart. You saw that with, now here Donald Trump treating the head of Russia as though Russia is the equal of the United States. And then it's been reported in the news that Russia's economic state ain't even equal to one of the states in the United States. Yet Donald Trump running out there sucking up to Putin. I mean that man over 6 feet tall. Donald Trump is over 6 foot. What is he? 6'3"? Something like that. I mean, the man is a giant. Yet Putin looked taller than him when they walked out there. Putin walked out there like that, and Donald Trump walked out there like that. And Donald Trump, the head of a superpower, and Putin, then Putin punked him when they asked him, did you interfere in the elections and order your people to help Trump win? He said, yes. Well, that go to him. What do you mean a witch hunt? You heard it straight from Putin's mouth that he helped Donald Trump. And he said, why? Because Trump, I think, would bring us back to the a more conciliatory, a more good relations. What made him think that? What would make him think that if they ain't been talking? He let Trump come over there with Miss America pageant. How he get in Russia with a Miss America, Miss Universe pageant? I'm sorry. I mean, it's a joke. The only thing I can think of is that it ought to be a lot of, maybe they ain't got enough handcuffs, and they're trying to round up enough handcuffs before they go arresting all these crooks in Congress and in, I mean, they got stuff on them. I know they got stuff. They got that. If I see this, I know the FBI see it. You know, even God said, the cup she have filled. They waiting on you to fill the cup. What else you want to do? Huh? Pour it back on her. Just remember, when you decide that instead of defending the Constitution, you're going to violate it, you made yourself a criminal. Otherwise, that the oath of office, it's nothing. If it's an oath that you can violate, if it carries no penalty for violating it, then it serves no purpose. That's just like getting on the witness stand. I mean, let me show you how they take their oath seriously. Why won't they why Donald Trump afraid to sit down with the FBI? From his own lawyers, they said because it's a perjury trap. What do you mean a perjury trap? The only one who can walk into a perjury trap is somebody who gonna lie. And it's not a trap. All you got to do is go in there and tell the truth. But they know that lying to the FBI, lying, which is who they following is. He's a liar. And everybody who following him is a liar. Everybody who tries to uphold Donald Trump has to lie. You need to start calling them people at Fox News, call them what they really are. That's what that name means. Trick news. When you fuck somebody, you trick them. You notice, I talk about them, they don't say nothing about me. You know why? There's enough people listening to him already. And if we put him out there, there's going to be more people listening to him. So they don't want to do that. So, I mean, I guess more people are starting to believe I am the Son of Man. That's all you can do is believe it or disbelieve it. You don't know it. I'm the only one who knows. You see? No man know who the Son is but the Father. Jesus, Moses, David, Solomon, did none of them know who I am. They were only told that I was coming. They foresaw my coming. And they were told to bear witness to that. You see? So I, you ask anybody that have dealt with me, and all of them will come away telling you, yeah, I know the Son of Man, well, what fault you found in him? I ain't found none in him. I'm talking white people, black people, brown, yellow. Ain't nobody found no fault with me. You know why? Because I truly do care about people. I'm not doing this to be seen. I'm doing it because I care. I know these people running around here talking about they waiting on America's fall. America already done failed. I'm trying to help her get up now. Anytime a man like Donald Trump can be president, a man like that, America has fallen. But, it's kind of like you want to find out how strong the Constitution is. I mean, when you fall sick, you ain't never fell sick. That's when you found out how strong your Constitution is. Because the doctor, he can help you with them shots, but your immune system got to jump in there. Your Constitution had to kick in. Huh? Well, America's Constitution is about to kick in. I'm just telling you now. You think that you are doing something big. All you doing is making the Constitution kick in. You ain't gonna like what you find. You breaking the law. You swore to uphold the Constitution, and you dragging the Constitution through the mud and laughing about it. Called it a joke. See, they didn't really say what he was really saying. There's an old saying about America. When I say about America, I mean by Americans who understand the justice system. And they say the wheels of justice turn slow. You heard Donald Trump say we need fair, quick justice. That's not quick justice. That's what mobs say when they're getting ready to lynch somebody. When they're getting ready to take revenge. What did he say? He believed in an eye for an eye, right? He don't know what that means. Otherwise, he wouldn't say that. He wouldn't want that either. You better be glad that I'm here. But anyway, the reason that they say the wheels of justice turn slow is because they have another saying, that it is better that 10 guilty people go free than one innocent man be wrongly convicted. That goes along with saying the wheels of justice turn slow. Why? Do you know what it means to deliberate? To deliberate means to sit down and ponder and go over and think over and over a thing. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to me, he said, think 5 times before you speak. I've grown into more understanding of that as I've matured. That didn't just mean think 5 seconds or so before speaking. Everything that you and I say is based on senses, on sensory. What did your ears hear? What did your eyes see? Depending on what you're dealing with, what did your nose smell? You notice that, you know those smoke detectors? The smoke detector is generally put up on the ceiling. And that is because hot air rises. And smoke, when it starts off, is hot. And so even though you may not smell it, the smoke detector detects it because it ain't worked its way down. It ain't filled up the room yet, and they give you time to get out of there. Huh? So you are reacting to one of your senses that you have heightened with that smoke detector. Do you understand? And so it's you know, so my senses, you're not going to rob me of my common sense. You're not going to tell me I didn't hear what I heard. You're not going to tell me I didn't see what I saw. But liars will do that to you. Going to tell you you didn't hear it. Going to tell you you didn't see it. Next thing you know, you doubting yourself. You know why? Let me explain something to you about people criticizing you. Are you aware that you have never seen your own back? Even double-jointed people ain't that double-jointed. They can't turn all the way around and look down and see what their back look like. What does that tell you? Somebody else got to do it for you. You say, well, I can get in a mirror. That's just a reflection. Mirrors ain't always true. They can make things look better than they are, or they can make things look worse than they really are. You need to go ask somebody. Huh? Well, now let's think for a minute. Now, a man like Donald Trump, he ain't got no mirror reflecting on the stuff that he done did and looking at himself from behind. You know, whenever you look at history, you're looking at your back. Do you understand? So when someone walks up and tell you, hey man, you need to check yourself. I mean, and what was you thinking when you said this and when you did that and when you did that? Who are you to tell me what I think? Get out of my face. Well, that's what happens when you're so self-absorbed that the only people you want to hear from is people that agree with you. You're doomed. Because you live in the delusion. You living and thinking that 180 is equal to 360. No, you don't have 360. I'm the only man on the planet with 360 degrees. And I wouldn't have it if Allah wasn't with me. See, what I don't see, as it said, he shall not judge by the sight of his eyes or the hearing of his ears, but in righteousness shall he judge. In righteousness shall he make war. Notice, I told you about sitting up, going along just because you can make money off a man like Donald Trump being in office. So you keep pushing him up there because it gets you ratings and because it gets you this and it gets you more money. When you're not thinking about how you pushing him up there and helping ignorant people believe that that man is something good for America when he's actually something that is like like termites. Look at the kind of people he took into the office with him. That's what you want to govern you? That's what you want to represent America? One thing I'll agree with Mr. Brennan on, out of the many things that he said, he was right when he said, America is better than that. I know America is better than that because I just saw some of the better things that America can do. The more I look at the contrast between the last president and the present president, the more I appreciate the fact that the American people, when they sober, when they kick all of the racism and all of the stuff that kind of works you up and gets you on an emotional high, when you put that stuff aside, American people will generally choose wisely. You always, whenever you make a choice, if you make it based on just what the person looks like, you're always going to choose wrong. But when you base it on the history of the person and how they have not just treated you, but for anybody can be pretty nice to somebody that they like. It's just like I was thinking about when the officer, the officer went a little too far with a black professor and arrested the man, or tried to arrest the man for breaking into his own house because the man had left his key. And President Obama made the statement that the police department or that officer acted stupidly. And people said, hey, that's okay for private citizens to say, but not for the president. You can't stand up there and say stuff like that. You know what the president did? He immediately came out and said, that's right. He invited them to the White House and made peace. Whatever happened to the American people on reminding the president, hey, you in too lofty a position to, your word carries too much weight for you to be out here making suggestions or making personal observations when it comes to certain things. You have to remember that you You're not just speaking for yourself. You're speaking for America. You understand? And they were right to remind him of that. But now, like we used to tell people, your slip is showing, your hypocrisy is showing. You wasn't so concerned about the president getting a little too personal. You were concerned about a black man criticizing a white police officer. You sick. And if you don't let me heal you, as in unto you that fear my name, shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing. If I can't heal you, you're going to be ashes under my feet. Did you heat my coffee back up? As you say, what I asked for if I ain't going to drink it. Oh, thank you. Is it anyone that think I'm misspeaking? You know, you can tell me what you think. I'm talking about white people or black people. It don't make no difference who you are. Because I already understand that I got a black body. But inside this body, matter of fact, right up underneath this black, there's some pearly white skin. You ever scraped yourself? What did you see? White is right there. That's why they call the scripture says to a nation scattered and peeled. That's what we called the white man at first, a peeled man. Because that's the only time we saw white skin at one time was when we scraped ourselves and we saw it was like you had peeled the black off of him. The white man is nothing but another aspect of black people. Everybody that's on the earth is of us. They're our family, the human family of the planet Earth. And the messenger said this, that you are not civilized until you learn the knowledge and the wisdom of the human family of the planet Earth. You see? So, I've learned that the best way to be, you don't have to wonder how to treat people. You don't have to know how to treat people. All you have to know is how you want to be treated. Well, that's how you treat other people. If I was in the office, if I was as the Son of Man, doing things that Donald Trump is doing and calling myself the Son of Man, I would hope that it would be everybody and his brother getting on my case. A lot of times people say, well, you wasn't going to listen no way, so I didn't tell you nothing. Well, how you know I wasn't going to listen? You didn't even try to give me a warning. But when you tell people what they did after you told them, that's on them. That man been around people that ain't did nothing but kowtow to him all his life. Ain't no wonder he still expect everybody to kowtow to him. People in this world, they will bend over backwards to kiss the behind of a wealthy man because they want some of his wealth. So they hurt themselves. They hurt him. But by doing that to him, once he gets in position of power, then you see how much you hurt yourself by letting him get away with all of that stuff. Now you want him to change. You made him like that, putting up with his foolishness. Yeah, okay. Well, I don't want nobody to put up with my foolishness. If I say or do something that's stupid, I would welcome you to tell me what it is that I'm doing that's stupid. Let me hear it. Let everybody hear it. Because you know why I say let everybody hear it? What if the one you talking to that you trying to correct, what if he don't accept your correction? Well, at least then you can save those who may have been foolish enough to be following him. They can hear you correct him, and then that will help them. Even if the fool don't correct himself. Do you understand? I've learned a lot from growing up in America. Just like you hear people say they drove all the way from North Carolina. They drove from Arkansas. They drove from here, from there, to go and sit in on that trial with Paul Manafort. They wanted to be there for the verdict, wanted to be there. Some of them wanted to be there to watch the trial. Why? Because a man, in order to trust that justice is being done, you can't do it in secret. You got to get out there in the public and let the public not just hear your accusation, but the public need to also hear a rebuttal. Now, if Donald Trump thinks that everything is bad, that all this was a farce or put on, if he really thought that, then the time to voice that is after all the evidence come in and he see what's there, then pick it apart, point by point, right? And let them argue their side, and then let the American people decide which is more credible. But knowing that the Justice Department, them people at the Justice Department cannot get in no back and forth with him in the news, then why is he hitting them when he know they can't hit back? Because he's a coward and he's a liar. And the only way that a lie can exist is that the truth must remain silent. And he knows that we ain't heard nothing from Mr. Mueller, but we sure have heard a lot of slander about Mr. Mueller. Ain't that something? What kind of people support cowards? Other cowards. A brave man watch you do something that's cowardly, he'll sit down on you. Say, hey man, what's that about? Hey, and you see that man's hands tied? Well, you won't hit him while his hands tied. He might tell you, why don't you try that on me? Huh? You notice, I talk about him. He ain't saying nothing about me. Fox News ain't saying nothing about me. Even when they brought something about me, they didn't mention me. They said the new nation of Islam. What's his name? Benny Thompson was interviewed by the new nation of Islam. I ain't never heard of no such thing as that. It's like somebody coming to America. Benjamin Netanyahu was interviewed by America. What are you talking about, man? Who was the man talking to? Well, they wasn't going to say the Son of Man. They don't want you to know I'm here. But the whole world going to eventually know I'm here, and the whole world going to come to me. Because they tired of your foolishness. When the people realize what I'm really here for, you're not going to be able to keep them from coming to me. And you're not going to be able to keep me from helping every one of them. Yeah. I'm come that they might have life, and that they might have it in more abundance. So let me say to, I mean, look, now I've seen brothers that was in the Nazi party, seen them going through the pain of getting them tattoos taken off. I've seen that. And saying that they was wrong. They didn't understand. What, I'm supposed to not forgive that? Not forgive them? I forgive anybody that tries to repent and really is trying to do better. If you're not going to forgive people when you fuss at them and they do you wrong and you fussing at them, why are you fussing at them if you're not interested in them repenting? And if they repent, which means be sorry, apologize, and start doing better, well, then why would you still be mad at them? So, I mean, even when I'm fussing at you, it's like a brother was telling me about something he said to me, insulting me. I didn't remember that. He apologized and, well, okay, fine. I forgive you. Let's move on. I mean, what? Do you know how much trouble it is for you to try to carry your thoughts and all of them crazy thoughts you have about other people? You trying to carry all that stuff around. Ain't no wonder y'all have crazy. You got to learn to, when you get through fussing about something, leave it alone. Let it go. It's gone now. When I fuss you out about something you doing, believe me, that's on you then. I'm through with that. If you correct yourself, then it's the same to me that you never did nothing. Now, long as you don't keep on repeating the same thing, after a while, you just get, even in this world, you keep on saying you sorry, and then you come right back and do the same thing, and people, you say, I'm sorry, you say you sure are. The sincerity of your apology can be seen in how you correct yourself. And the insincerity is seen in you keep repeating the same thing that you said you were sorry for. And I'm going to tell you something else. I ain't finna say I'm sorry for something that I ain't sorry for. No. That's why I'm careful about how I treat people. I'm careful about getting up in people's face all the time. I ain't be getting up in your face, but if I tell you something that you did that's wrong, I don't care how you try to make excuse or how you try to justify it. There is no justifiable reason to do something that's wrong. Yeah. So, and I'm going to tell you something else. One of your biggest problems as a people, Americans have this problem. We all that grew up in America got this problem. We don't listen when somebody talking to us. Too rebellious. When people don't want to be told what to do, they just be quiet waiting on you to finish. And then they go on and do what they was going to do. And they wasn't listening, because even when they said okay, they went and did something just the opposite of what you told them. Watch me. Watch me when I'm in a conversation with you or whatnot. And you will discover that I have learned to listen to people. If you ask me what you just said, I can quote it back to you. I ask you what I just said, you can't quote me back. And not only you do that, you do that with me, you'll do that with everybody that you talk to. That's why most people in this country can't get along with each other, because they don't listen. You notice when I let the national director of the Ku Klux Klan tell me what his problem is with black people, I listened to him. And everything that he said he had a problem with, I said, well, you ain't got no problem out of me, because I ain't chasing your daughter. I'm not trying to move into your neighborhood. I ain't trying to force you to do nothing for me. And, he couldn't find no fault with me. And he was too ashamed to say my black skin, because that would have sounded just stupid. Because how can you claim that you believe in God? And even the God that you've been claiming to worship. If I ask you who made all people, you say God did. Well, then why are you mad at me for being black? If you don't like black, you know who you should take that up with? Take it up with God. Don't blame it on me. I remember my mother used to be, show you how much we hated black. My mother used to be drinking coffee. And I said, my dear, could I have some? Could I have some of that? She said, it'll make you black. I said, I don't want no coffee. Oh, man. Anyway, I just thought I'd lighten the moment. I know I get pretty serious sometimes. That just popped into my mind. I thought I'd share it. Being black, boy, that was a bitter pill to swallow for a while. Oh, man. Now it's kind of funny to think that we was that foolish. Boy, we've been fighting over nothing. I mean, it's sad. But anyway, then we heard some of the teachings and misunderstood it. And the messenger, when he taught us that the white man is the devil, we thought that everybody that got white skin is just devil. Even when he said that Master Farad Muhammad's mother was a white woman, he didn't say she was a devil. He said she was a white woman, that his father went up into the government, the mountains, of Europe, a black man, and he found him a white wife. He didn't say he found him a devil wife. He said he found him a white wife. And he made a good Muslim out of her. Well, if he made a good Muslim out of her, and he never did say that Prophet Muhammad was a devil. He said Prophet Muhammad was a white man. Prophet Muhammad of 1400 years ago was a white man. He didn't say he was a devil. You know, it took me some time to grow up, you know, as with children. The same way that it takes a young man to, I'm looking at some of them sitting here. I remember when they used to do things that, you know, but now they're grown men. And they probably look back at some of the stuff they did and laugh themselves. And they see the other ones doing some of the stuff that they did and think that, you know, and you had to get on them and whatnot, but you have to remind them, hey, don't be so hard on them. You used to do that. Well, you know, did I go all off on you? Don't go be going off on them. Just correct them. Huh? Yeah. So, you know, I used to be misunderstood by a lot of the brothers that was in the nation that never really understood the teachings. They thought they understood, but they're finding out now that they really didn't understand. And if W.D. Muhammad didn't prove to you that you didn't understand, I mean, if you understood, why were so many people tripped up by him? He didn't trip me. I didn't throw away the teachings. I grew in the teachings until I was able to walk in and out of the teachings at will. The messenger told me that. He said, if you can walk out of what I'm teaching, you will have to make steps on your own. Now, he knew that I would be able to do that. But he told them at the time, before I got there, he said, but I don't think you will be able to walk out of what I'm teaching. In order to walk out of a crib, you got to be able to stand up and not crawling around on your knees. Crawling ain't walking. You see, you got to grow up and learn to walk. And so I have learned to walk the path of the prophets, the messengers of God. I'm walking their path now as I'm talking to everybody on the planet. You'll notice I'm not trying to put you all against each other. I'm breaking down that which puts you against one another and making you see that we are the human family. Dysfunctional though we may be, we are still a family. And I'm giving all of you a chance to get it together. As the scripture teaches you, grace and truth came with the Son of Man. Grace is, what is the point of bringing you the truth if I ain't gonna give you time to accept or reject it? If you accept it, you still need time to grow in it and change. You know, so I'm willing to give you that time. That's all. Just come to class. And you see, you love, if you love your country, look what's being done to it. Whether you realize it or not, the whole world is America. Look how tied to the whole world America's economy is. People all over the earth are trying their best to throw off the yoke of tyranny. But shedding blood ain't the way to throw it off. An enlightened mind will destroy tyranny. Because an enlightened mind, a truly enlightened mind, teaches you one great important rule. As you would like men to do to you, do that to them. Even a child comes here knowing that. Watch children. If you give them one toy and they both, one would say, let me play with it a while. They say, okay, he'll let you play with it. Then the other child may come up with a different kind of toy. And the other one, they say, can I play with it? You say, no, I'll let you play with mine. That's the first thing out of his mouth. He knows that the right way is do me like I did you. That's close. That's a child's mind. But the real thing is, don't do to me. I'm not going to do to you what you did to me. I'm going to try my best to do to you what I would like you to do to me. I'm not going to say I always practice that. But I'm conscious of that. And if I don't practice it, my conscience gets on me, and I'm glad. That's what makes me to correct myself. That's the kind of mind that Allah wants in us. One that is self-correcting. You see? So you notice, the more you listen to what I have to say, the more you realize ain't nobody trying to brainwash you. All I'm trying to do is enlighten your mind. That's how I show you that I care about you. Because when I finish teaching you and get you to a certain level, ain't nobody gonna be able to deceive you. That's when you're really safe. They're talking about making the schools safe. How you gonna have safe schools and you're not trying to change the minds of people who make the schools unsafe? There ain't no such thing as a lock that a thief can't break in. Presidents have security all around them. And we've seen them get assassinated right in front of us. The only way to make the schools safe and the community safe is to enlighten the minds of the people and make sure that no person in your country, start with your community, no person in your community should feel uncared for. The quickest way to get people to care about you is to show them that you care about them. You know, now before I go into something else, Did any of you all have something that you wanted to ask or say to me on this subject matter? Now, I want you to remember what you saw here and what I told you about liars. If Sarah Sanders looking at this, since she don't seem to be able to reflect and look at her own back, look at her own history, then maybe her and all of the rest of those people that decide that they want to take money from the taxpayers of America to do a job and then get in there when it's her job to come out and tell the American people the truth of what's going on, she come out and lie. Getting paid by the very people she lying to. There's a price that should be paid. I think she took an oath to uphold the Constitution too. You can't uphold the Constitution with lies. If you're the press secretary, then the reason the press has freedom to talk to the people in authority is because the press is the link between the population of America and those who govern. So you want the press to come back and lie to the people, and then you call what they bring from you, you call it fake news and blame it on them. Well, understand something. I say this to the press. When you go and interview anyone in government, roll the tape, keep it, let them talk. Then ask them the pertinent questions. Whether you get a answer or ignored or whatnot, ask the questions and whatnot. And then you bring back to the American people the truth. Whatever lies they tell, don't help them with it. Tell the people. Most people, we're not all crazy out here. Show them what's being done. Stop saying the president doing this and the president doing that. No, say Mr. Trump is doing this and Mr. Trump is doing that. Make sure you put in the minds of the babies and of those who you want to respect the office of president. Make sure you make them understand that presidents, that's what he's doing, is not the president doing that. It's a man who has been put in that office, installed in that office, named Mr. Trump. And just call him Mr. Trump. Because if you're going to validate what he's doing and say the president is doing it, well, you are mistaken. The president is an office. And when you become, it's just like with the crooked police. Once he gets found to be a bank robber, or once you start, gathering evidence that he's not what that badge represents, then no longer do you call him a police officer, you call him a felon. Do you understand? That's his new title. President's supposed to uphold the Constitution, not trash it. Oh, just listen to this now.
Because what we have right now is a joke, and it's a laughing stock. And no wonder so much of this stuff takes place. And it's a laughing stock. And no wonder so much of this stuff takes place. And much stronger than we have right now. Because what we have right now is a joke, and it's a laughing stock. And no wonder so much of this stuff takes place than we have right now. Because what we have right now is a joke, and it's a laughing stock. And no wonder so much of this stuff takes place. So you heard the president say what we have right now, talking about the justice system, is a joke and a laughing stock. Keep that in mind as we play a clip of White House Press Secretary Sanders denying the president said what you just heard him say. Why did the president call the U.S. justice system a joke and a laughing stock during his comments? That was it. He said that the system of justice is the process has people calling us a joke and calling us a laughing stock. Look, I think, as I told Margaret, he simply pointed to the process has people calling us a joke and calling us a laughing stock. Look, I think, as I told Margaret, has people calling us a joke and calling us a laughing stock. Look, I think, as I told Margaret, he simply pointed out it's to the process has people. He said that the system of justice to the process has people calling us a.
Now, she stand up out there and tell you that he said something about the process. That's not what he said. But she stand up there and lie. What kind of people support a liar? Every one of them that's supporting him, and everybody in the Congress that fails to put him in check for violating the Constitution, every one of them need to be led out of those chambers in Congress, the Senate, and in the White House. They need to be led out publicly in handcuffs to send a message to the next group that think that they can pull a coup d'etat on the American government. You see, gonna turn the American government into a monarchy. When that's one of the things, a monarchy is what America came into existence getting away from. Some of them was stupid enough to even suggest to George Washington that he could be the king. And he told him, nope, no, we just got rid of one tyrant. Now you want to put another one on there? He said, not that wouldn't make a good king, I think, but I fear those who may come after me. And now Donald Trump showing you he had good reason to fear. Nixon, even Nixon was a culprit. He just wasn't no traitor. But he definitely didn't have the respect that he should for the Constitution that he swore to uphold. There you go. So I'm going to leave it right there, and then we're gonna go to something else here. I want you to see how, and I want to remind you of something. I want you to see something that took place in the courtroom, the closing argument, the last words of each one of them's closing argument. And then I want to remind you of something that they tell you in court when you get arrested. And just listen.
Tonight, we will see you again tomorrow. Now it's time for the last word with Lawrence O'Donnell. Good evening, Lawrence.
Good evening, Rachel, and I am so sorry. I am so sorry that you did not get the transcript of today's court proceedings in time for your hour tonight. I have it right here. Does it pain you that I have it in my hands? I shouldn't have.
I have the rage.
Yes, no, I've heard about that. I saw your exchange with
the wrath. It's the rage. No, this is really just jealousy. It's a different thing. I'm turning green.
It's a very different thing. So I just got this 10 minutes ago. Okay, and let me just give you this. Okay, let me just give you the last line. Okay, last line spoken by the defense.
Okay.
Today, to the jury. The government has not met their burden beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Manafort knowingly and willfully filed false returns or knowingly or willfully failed to file FBARs. He then went on to thank the jury. The last line from the prosecution, the last words the jury's heard from one of the lawyers in the case before the judge took over with his instructions. Ladies and gentlemen, the evidence in this case is what controls. It's the evidence that comes from that witness stand, and it leads to only one conclusion, and that is that Mr. Manafort is guilty and guilty as charged.
One of those sounds very Perry Mason, and one of those doesn't.
Which one?
The one that didn't say FBAR, which actually might be an FEC banned acronym.
Well, you see the emphasis there. The evidence is the evidence that comes from that witness stand where Paul Manafort never sat and where no witnesses appeared for the defense. Everything you're supposed to take from this case comes from that witness stand. The defense gave you nothing.
You know, everybody keeps telling us, all the legal experts keep telling us that it is not that weird that the defense didn't mount a defense. But the defense didn't mount a defense. And they do, no matter what happens here, have to be looking down the barrel at the next federal criminal trial for Paul Manafort. That is.
Now, he want to stand up there and tell the people that Paul Manafort was, wasn't guilty because the prosecution hadn't proved their case beyond a reasonable doubt. But Paul Manafort didn't put on no defense at all. When it came time for him to put forth his case, that even if it was a case that the prosecution didn't put on a case that was beyond reasonable doubt, that would have had to come from the witness stand. The mere fact that you didn't put on no defense says that you guilty. Because you didn't contest nothing they said. That's what they tell us when they arrest us. The judge, he tell you, I done been picked up before for traffic tickets and stuff. And they tell you, they say, how you plead? You can plead guilty, not guilty, or nolo contendere. But nolo contendere is the same as guilty. If you're not going to put up no defense, that's the same as guilty. Now, that's what they said. Now, I don't know you coming out here telling the people that Paul Manafort somehow was innocent. When the prosecution said that he's guilty, and he is guilty as charged, most people may have missed what that meant. But understand that what they were saying was, not only is he guilty of the things that we that he's being accused of, but he is guilty of everything that he was charged with. He is guilty as charged. Do you understand? All right. I'm just making sure that you hear what I hear. You see? So, you know, I'm going to tell you something. This is the way that the FBI, you know, if you want, let me explain this to you. When you look at me, most of you just see a black man. The more enlightened you are, the more you will realize that looking at me, you're looking at the Word of God. In the flesh. When you look at the FBI, you're looking at the Constitution in the flesh. And an attack on them, you are actually attacking the Constitution. When you uphold Donald Trump in his attack on them, you are upholding Donald Trump in the attack on your Constitution. You notice, even Mr. Strzok, they accused him of some type of improper conduct simply because in private, he and his girlfriend or whatever didn't want Donald Trump to be president. And yet he separated his private feelings from his commitment to the Constitution and to his job. So the things that he did know about Donald Trump being under investigation and all of that kind of stuff, he didn't come out there. He didn't leak nothing. He didn't do none of that stuff. To show you that to try to condemn him for his personal feelings is to condemn him for being human. You don't let a man like Donald Trump, who has no patriotism in him, the way you know he has no patriotism in him, you found that out by the way he spoke of John McCain. You know that Donald Trump is not a patriotic citizen. You know that. The way he misrepresented America in the presence of Russia. He was told, don't congratulate Vladimir Putin on a rigged election. First thing he did was congratulating him. The intelligence community told him that election wasn't legitimate. Putin put his number one adversary in jail. Donald Trump congratulated him. What is Donald Trump talking about doing to Omarosa and anybody who knows stuff about him and willing to tell it? What are you talking about doing to him? Putting them in jail. So understand, I'm not telling you something that I dreamed up. This is right in the scripture here, in the the book of John. You go to the book of John in the Holy Bible, and let's go to the 5th chapter. It says, the 21st verse. I'm going to start there. And I want you to go to the 22nd chapter of the Holy Quran. One of y'all tell me what verse. Now you understand why I told you when you look at me, you're looking at the word of God. Now you go to the 5th verse in the 22nd chapter. Now look what it says. O men. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Let me get there. I was looking at something else here. Go to the the 5th verse. Yeah. O people, if you are in doubt about the resurrection, then surely, without any doubt, we created you from what? From dust. Then from a small life germ. You know where the life germ come from. It come from the food your daddy ate, and your body is designed to extract from that dust the material that goes into his scrotum to produce that life germ. Huh? Okay. Does anyone disagree with that? Okay. That we created you from dust, then from a small life germ, then from a clot. You notice when the life germ meet the egg, the ovum of the woman, then a clot is formed, a leech-like creature. And that creature attaches itself to the wall of your mother's uterus and begins to suck blood from her like a leech. Is that right? There came over man a time when he was nothing that could be mentioned. Is that right? If you saw your beginning at the beginning of you, if you saw that little clot and somebody put it on a piece of paper or something, and you looked at it and put your finger in it and said, what in the world is that? Let me go wash my hand. Well, what is that to say? You wasn't nothing that could be mentioned, was you? All right. Says, and then from a lump of flesh. Now look what happened. We went from dust, vegetables and fish and steak and all of that kind of stuff. That stuff coming there. If you don't believe steak is dust, tell you what you do. You take a piece of steak, go out there and bury it in the dirt. Leave it in there for a few months. Then go back and dig where you buried it. See what's there. Nothing but dust. Huh? You know what a cow eat. A cow eat what? Grass. Right? What is grass? Dust. How you know it's dust? When it died, what it turned to? Okay. Okay. So you went from dust to sperm, to a life germ, then to a lump, to a clot of thick blood, then to a lump of flesh. Then went from dust to flesh. Matter changing forms. Huh? Now you see why we say from everlasting to everlasting. Is that right? You can take dust. Dust won't burn. You take it, you can go to the sun. You can literally throw fire on dust and dust put it out. Is that right? The hottest fire don't move dust. Is that right? Okay. Now let's see. It says, from a clot, then from a lump of flesh, complete in make. Why I say complete in make? Because that's what man is going to be. Flesh in blood. Is that right? So that's what we are right now. We are flesh in blood. Every piece of flesh in your body has to stay rooted or dipped in blood in order to live. Is that right? Okay, now let's go. Read some more. Complete in make and incomplete, because the embryo is a complete lump of flesh, but it's incomplete because it still got some growing to do, don't it? Then it says, complete in make and incomplete, that we may make clear to you of how we bring and brought ourselves into existence and how we bring you into existence and how we take you out. And it says, and we cause what we please to remain in the wombs till an appointed time. The same way that we have a set time for a baby to remain hidden in the womb of its mother. Predetermined, we prophesy about it. 9 months. Is that right? We know when it's time. Isn't that right? Because we know the history of the gestation of babies. Likewise, they knew the history of Yaqub before he was born. They knew when he was going to be born. They also knew when I was going to be born. That's why when Yaqub came to complete the work of Mr. Shabazz, which he came up with the idea for 50,000 years ago, Yaqub was born approximately 43,000 years after Mr. Shabazz said what he was going to do. Yaqub was born to complete what Mr. Shabazz started. And he told his uncle, he said, "Uncle, when I get to be an old man, I'm going to make a people that will rule you." Now, you know, Yaqub didn't live but 150 years. So he sure wasn't no old man when he died. Methuselah would have laughed at you to call him an old man. Is that right? Okay. So what was this old man taught? Jacob's name was changed to Israel. Jacob's name was changed to Israel. And when they got to be an old people, an old man, well, 6,000 years is pretty old. Is that right? Methuselah was a baby compared to that. Is that right? Okay. Who wind up being under that old man? His people that he made. Jacob gave them the knowledge of how to enslave us. And he knew that after him, he said you got 6,000 years. Jacob was born approximately 43,000 years in that 50,000 year period of time. And so he knew that every 50,000 years, there's one born that brings about a universal change. But this time, this one would be so wise that there wouldn't be no more signs of something new coming, because the mind of the Son of Man, you notice my mind, it just keeps growing and growing and growing. I keep teaching on things that I already taught on and taking you deeper into it. You notice that? And ain't no confusion. It's all plain. It's all clear. So he knew that, he said, you got 6 days to do all your work. He told his people that. The last part of their work was to enslave Abraham's seed. And then when that took place, 400 years, he said. And then also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge. Well, this is it. You notice, he came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And he judged these people and told us who they are. He said the white man is the devil. And that was that. Okay, the prince of this world is judged. That's what's written. Well, the Son of Man, since the white man is the devil, then he had no hope of being saved. So why should he care about anybody? Because he thought that he was going to be murdered. He thought that he was on the list to just be killed at the end of 6,000 years. Now, could you really blame him for wanting to kill those who he thought was going to murder him? Well, could you? We had to let him think that. In order for him to do what we needed done, we had to make him really put us in danger, make us feel that we were about to be annihilated. Then we would produce the Son of Man. And now I can heal everybody. Unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with what? Healing in his wings. It's talking about the wings of my mind, the different parts of my mind, like the wings of a hospital is the different parts of that hospital. And so I'm here to let all of you know that we're not here to destroy men's lives. The Son of Man came not to destroy men's lives, but to save them from their sinful deeds, which was causing them to lose their lives. Do you understand? So that's what I'm here for. So he was promised that at the end of, at the day of judgment, the curse that was on him, he said, on thee is a curse until when? Until the day of judgment. The day of judgment is the day of truth. Even Donald Trump can't get out of the truth. Now, they lie for him, and then he come out there and tell them, well, no, I fired him because of that Russia. He had to come tell it. He don't, everybody got to tell the truth on themselves now. People come up to me and tell me stuff all the time. Some of them willingly and some of them unwillingly. But you ain't gonna come to me lying. No, I can't help you if you come to me lying. The doctor, he gonna find out what's wrong with you. If you come to him, he gonna find out what's wrong with you. Is that right? So my job is to try to save you. And I wouldn't want to do that if I didn't know you was my family. I had to first realize that you're my family. And then when you find out the messenger said a man that don't love his family, he don't need no family. You hear people say, don't nobody love you but your daddy. Is that right? Well, it's the truth.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Screen name is Arataza Radazama.
Yes.
He says he is the Son of Man, but I am the sin of God. Demetrius.
That's all right. You say you the sin of God? No, don't say that, brother. The sin of God is to accuse God of a sin. God, how can he sin against his own will? He cannot. You see, that's the one thing about they had right about the king. And we say in our prayers, we say, now I'm going to take him at his word that he's serious and that he's not trying to make no joke here. When you look at what they said about a king, they said the king can't break the law because he is the law. Do you understand? The king's word is law. Well, when you understand that God is the king, the king's word is law because God is the king. And we say, oh Allah, thou art the king. I know of no God but thee. Thou art my Lord, and I am thy servant. And I've been greatly unjust to myself, and I confess my faults and weaknesses. So please grant me and my family protection against all of our faults and weaknesses. So no, you can't be the sin of God because God is not able to sin. You cannot accuse God of sinning when his will is what he does, since it's his universe. And whatever he decides that he wants to do, that's what he does. And that's what will be done. So don't say that. You're not the sin of God. No such a thing. So don't even talk like that. And if you believe I'm the Son of Man, then just say you believe I'm the Son of Man. Don't say I'm the Son of Man, because for you to say that and somebody tell you, well, prove it. You don't know how to prove I'm the Son of Man. I'm the only one who can offer proofs that I'm the Son of Man. The only thing that you can do is believe it or disbelieve it. Other than that, that's all. that you can do. That's why the book says, whosoever believeth on him shall not perish. Because I'm the one that gives you vision. I'm the one that gives you sight, insight into the Holy Scriptures so that you can obey them if you choose to. And where there is no vision, the people perish. If the blind lead the blind, what is a blind man? It's someone that has no vision. Okay, so just pay attention and don't be tripping. And so now let's get back to this. I'm kind of glad he interrupted because I'm getting away from this scripture here that I was reading. It says, we bring you forth as babies then that you may attain your maturity. Yes. You notice the human body starts in the womb, starts in darkness, and is brought into light to reach its maturity. And once the body matures, then how you conduct yourself either preserves you or begins like fruit, causes you to decay. Even right now, scientists, they don't know why we age, and our cells, they reproduce, old ones die and new ones take their place and stuff. Then why do we keep changing after we done grown to maturity? Why don't we just look the same and stay the same all the time? Your wrongdoing is what's killing you. So, the wages of sin. All right. And it says, and of you is he who is caused to die, and of you is he who is brought back to the worst part of life, so that after knowledge he knows nothing. Well, we've seen that with Alzheimer's. Huh? I remember a time when there was no Alzheimer's. You used to could talk to, a good example was the Jane Pittman story. Remember when they had Cicely Tyson and them, but they interviewed, when you used to talk to old people, their bodies were slow, their bodies was in decay, but their mind was still sharp. Isn't that right? But now that it's time for the fulfillment of the book, you see a lot of people, they ain't all old folks either. See a lot of people's minds, they are being brought to an early aged state, that this state says among you is he who is brought back to the worst part of life, that after having knowledge, his mind is absent. He knows nothing. And it says, and thou seest the earth barren. That's how you see the earth sometimes. It's barren without any kind of growth in it or whatnot. But when we send down thereon water, and let me tell you something, there's a spiritual aspect to this, that after knowledge, you are discovering that you know nothing. Because when I stand up to read the Holy Scriptures to you, after all of your degrees, after you done got all of the knowledge that this world had to offer you, you discover that when it comes to the Word of God, you don't know nothing. Well, thou seest the earth like that sometime, barren. But when we send down thereon water, how do you know when water is going to fall to the earth? It clouds up, don't it? Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. Look at all of the people now, all over the earth. They can go on the internet and they can see the Son of Man with all of the Holy Scriptures with him. He cometh with clouds. Spiritual clouds is what the Holy Bible and the Holy Quran are. They literally are water vapor. The Bible, 2. The Holy Quran, 1. H2O. 2 parts and 1 part. Huh? All right. And it says, but when we send down thereon water, it stirs and swells. What's another way of saying it stirs? It mixes. You notice, as I'm sending down the Holy Bible and the Holy Quran's knowledge to you, mixing them together, it causes your mind to swell, to expand. The kingdom of heaven is like unto leaven. What does leaven do when you put it in dough? Well, that's what the word of God does when I put it in your mind. It causes your mind to expand. And it says, and we send down thereon water. It stirs and swells and brings forth a beautiful growth of every kind. What do you mean a beautiful growth? The messenger told you that as you come into Islam, that Allah will gradually restore your beautiful appearance. All of you who listen to me and take what I'm sharing with you, you are becoming a better person. Your personality is becoming more beautiful until pretty soon you will be perfect. And so it's written in the Holy Quran, chapter 7, in the 26th verse. It says, you don't have to turn to it. It says, O children of Adam, we have indeed sent down to you clothing to cover your shame. Clothing that covers the shameful things that you are doing. Knowledge that covers all of those shameful things that you're doing that you need to stop doing. Knowledge for beauty, clothing for beauty, to make your personality such that no one can find fault with you. And clothing that guards you against evil. Put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand and resist the wiles of the devil that's in your brain. You see, what is the clothing to guard you from the devil that's comes with water? Learning how to swim. The knowledge of how to swim protects you from the devil that's in water. The knowledge that you can poison your system by drinking too much water, that's a knowledge that protects you from that devil that's in water. There's some devils in water. There's devils in everything. So let's go a little further. It says that is because Allah, He is the truth. And He gives life to the dead. And He is possessor of power, knowledge over all things. Now, let's go to the Holy Bible. The 21st verse of that 5th chapter of John says, for as the Father raiseth up the dead. Who is the Father? Allah, He is the truth. The truth is the creator of all things. And the best knower of the truth is the Son. So it's written, for as the Father raiseth up the dead, that is because Allah, He is the truth. And Allah will raise up those who are in the graves. Where do you find dead people? In the grave. All of you are in the graves of ignorance when it comes to religion. You just heard them bearing witness that the Catholic Church is dead. The people who run the church are dead. They are in a grave of ignorance. It don't make no difference what church you're talking about. It don't make no difference what mosque you talking about. Whether it's the Sunnis or the Shiites or whoever, all of them are dead. And I'm here to raise up those that are in the graves. So it says, and as the Father raiseth up the dead and quickeneth them, even so the Son quickeneth whom He wills. For the Father judgeth no man. You notice, the Holy Bible and the Holy Quran, they don't judge nobody. The Constitution don't judge nobody either. But a true Supreme Court justice and a true FBI, the FBI are the Constitution. And they are the ones that even whenever someone is even made to even appear to be tainted in the eyes of the public, the FBI know that, okay, we can't lose sight of what we are about. We know that even when you got a man that's purposely slandering them for the sake of the American people's trust and for the sake of the American people's interests, for their best interests. Get rid of those who are being unjustly attacked and trying to make it appear that the FBI is crooked. I haven't been no friend to the FBI. I haven't been no great friend to the Nation of Islam. But the one thing I can give them is that they didn't trump up no charges on nobody. And I will not help you slander them. Ain't no such thing as an unjust, righteous man. You are some very unjust people to side with a known liar against people who have dedicated their lives to protect you and to uphold the best of what you claim to represent. You're wrong, man. And believe me, Because if it's not correct, I don't know that it's not correct. If I'm saying something that offends you, or that y'all didn't miss nothing while I was gone, I was just waiting on it to come back up. But if I say something that you don't agree with, I'm willing to talk about it with you. I truly mean it when I say I want us to be brothers. I'm not here to try to condemn you. We was all condemned before the truth came. I'm here to take the condemnation off of you. And I'm here to justify taking it off. Since nobody understood the Bible, no one really understood the Holy Quran, well, then can't nobody be blamed for not obeying it. So all of you have been forgiven. You can't be held accountable to obey something you couldn't understand. That's why the messenger said the first thing that Allah did when he came was he declared all of us to be Muslims. Yes, die not unless you are what? Well, it is appointed once unto men to die. Well, it was appointed. It was prophesied. As in Adam, all died. Then all was Muslim because that was God's will. And now in Christ shall all be made alive. Now I'm giving you the knowledge of the messengers of God, the anointed ones of God. I'm here to give you the understanding of what they brought. I'm here to guide you to where the understanding of it is. Just like when it says the Father raiseth up the dead. Well, that is because Allah, He is the truth. The truth raises the dead. It raises you from an ignorant or dead level. For the Bible says, the man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the graveyard, shall remain in the congregation of the dead. Well, if you don't understand, then when the truth is given to you, when the understanding is given to you, then you are raised from the dead. Well, I am the resurrection and the life. And so it's written. It says, for the Father judgeth no man. The Holy Scriptures can't judge you. It says, but hath committed all judgment unto the Son. You know why they are called the Justice Department, the FBI? It's the Justice Department. The Constitution has committed judgment to them. They don't play with the Constitution. They respect it. And they go strictly by it. And when they arrest you, it's because they followed evidence that showed them that you needed to be arrested. They didn't make up evidence. They followed evidence. No. It's just like me. I don't make up nothing. I follow what the scripture says. It tells me about what happens when people commit treason. What is a treasonous act? It's a man giving trouble to his own country, turning against his own government. He that troubleth his own house shall inherit the wind. You got people sitting up in the House of Representatives purposely trying to undermine the Justice Department. Which is America's first and last defense when it comes to what's most important. The Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and Marine Corps, they are not the greatest protectors of the Constitution. The Constitution is the backbone of America. The FBI. That is their job. They are rightly called the Justice Department. And when you look at their reputation, you can't find nowhere in history where they were complicit, at least nothing that I know of. Now, if you know of something, you're welcome to share it. Show me where the Justice Department, the FBI, was complicit in trumping up or making up charges on people. It's like I said, even when J. Edgar Hoover was the director of the FBI, no, you may not have liked the fact that he was infiltrating black groups and seeing if they really was about what they claimed to be about. But the pictures that he took of Dr. King or anybody else, they didn't make them up. They exposed them. Now you can get mad about it and say, well, they shouldn't have did it. No, they shouldn't have done it. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. Even with me, if they find that I'm not true to what I claim to be, whose fault is that? If they watching me and find that I'm not what I claim to be, whose fault is that? And nobody's fault but mine. Because if I was true to what I claim to be, wouldn't make no difference how long they watch me. Now, would it? It's their job to watch. You used to hear presidents say that, not on my watch. Your problem is you took your freedoms for granted. Instead of you being watchful, not just electing people and just letting them go and don't pay no more attention until it's time to vote for them again, you should have been paying attention to what they was doing. Now you need a pound to cure because you didn't have an ounce of prevention. So, but I'm not really that concerned over it because if you look, I tell you what, go online and read George Washington's vision. He saw a very dark time for America, but he also saw you recover and remember that you are brothers. Once you remember that you are brothers, you'll start asking yourself the question, what do I need all these guns for? It certainly ain't because you scared somebody going to invade America. America has a Marine Corps, and I guarantee you, it may be some in there, but it ain't many cowards in the Marine Corps. And you got an Army. There ain't no bunch of cowards in there either. You got an Air Force, you got a Navy, you got a National Guard, and you got reserves. And you have some legitimate militia. Well, what you need a gun for? The only thing you could possibly have a gun for It's your next door neighbor. You got murder in your heart for your neighbor? Wake up, man. Some of your neighbors have children, husbands, that's already guarding your country. While they're trying to guard your country, you back here planning on killing each other? Then what are they guarding? If you want all these shootings to stop, then you need to take so many guns out of your society. Not add more to it. You better sober up. And what people couldn't do from the outside, they're going to make you do from the inside. Make you tear your own house up with your hatred and your bigotry. And I know it's bigotry because this is an open forum. If you thought you had a legitimate argument to have all these guns, you'd be in here telling me about it. And you'd be arguing with me. To me, it's crazy for a neighborhood of people to be justifying having an arsenal at their house, come out they need to protect themselves. And the only question I would ask is, from who? From who? Neighborhoods used to be just that. Everybody knew everybody on the street. Well, nobody thinking about having no guns to protect themselves from their neighbor. You just found out that the NRA ain't just the National Rifle Association, that's the National Russian Association. They done infiltrated the Rifle Association and got you spooked up into thinking that you need assault weapons to protect yourself from the imagination of your heart that you think that you need to be prepared to kill your neighbor. I know I can't stop what's prophesied, but maybe I can stop a few of you all from getting involved in it. Remember, the scripture says, he that taketh the sword shall perish thereby. He that taketh the gun shall perish thereby. I'm not finna go get no gun. I have no desire to kill anybody. And if Allah want to let you kill me, ain't nothing I can do about that. And if Allah don't want to let you kill me, ain't nothing you can do about that. So you see, both books agree. The Holy Quran just explains to you who the Father is. Allah, He is the truth. It's just like, I am the truth, walking and talking with you. That's how I understand that the FBI is the Constitution, walking and talking with you. You notice that's the one thing that all the people that have, even me, the dealings I've had with them, when those men come to visit you, you can't accuse them of being disrespectful. They're not disrespectful. They show you respect. And that's how they demand you show them respect. Them people didn't come up here with no guns drawn on me. They came up here and they came to me and didn't pull no guns or nothing. I didn't even see a gun on them. And one spoke and the others let him do the talking. And likewise, you notice when you come in here, you know, it may be a lot of people sitting around listening, but I'm the only one talk to you. I don't allow nobody else to be butting in like this some kind of wolf pack or something. Michael Cohen, he told you that the FBI were very respectful and courteous to him and his family. Man got caught. Well, if he got caught, you got caught. No sense in blaming them. Blame yourself. So, anyway, I spent more time on that than I had planned, but it was not time wasted. The messenger said this about us. When he spoke to the government of America, he said, "You will always find us to be peaceful citizens of yours and law-abiding citizens." As long as you don't make no law that's against the word of God, you ain't got to worry about me breaking your law. If you make a law that's against God's word, there ain't no sense in me lying to you. I'm not going to obey it. Like you come up talking about I can't spank my child or can't whip my child. You just well to go out there and talk to the ocean and tell it to stop making waves coming to the shore. Man, I'm gonna beat my child if I think they need beating, and I ain't gonna hide it. And if you know what's good for you, you stay out of my way. Don't never give me the choice in obeying God and obeying you. You're going to lose. But at the same time, I'm not going to be walking around here in this man's country ignoring his laws. Then get mad at him when he sends someone to enforce his law. And if you don't want to obey his laws, leave. But as long as you're in his country, you obey the man's laws. Okay. Now I will let you go. We about out of time. Brother told me we got 3 minutes. If you got a question that you can, well, I'm not going to say take 3 minutes because if I have to, I will go past. I just won't be on the TV up there. But any of you have something you want to ask me, you feel free to do so. I meant to go back into those question and answers with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, but you see how fast 3 hours went. So, but anyway, don't help people tear down your house. So you got a beef with the government or whatever. Just know this. if you thought you knew of a place that was better to be than in America, I think you would have been done left here. Then why would you help somebody tear this place up? I hope more people decide that they have a line and that they won't cross. And that line is, I'm not going to help you turn traitor against the United States. You don't help people commit treason. You don't justify treasonous acts. And you tell whoever try to get you to do that, hey man, you must have got your people mixed up. What do you think I am? Just remember this. Anybody turn on their own country, just remember this now. Any man, even the mafia will tell you this. A man turn on his own family. He may turn on them, but they ain't gonna, the other family ain't gonna trust him. Who is that with the phone off mute? May wa alaikum al-salam.
I want to ask you a question about a scripture that.
Well, ask your question, brother. Don't. You know, obviously you got a question, so ask it.
Yes, sir. It's about a scripture that says something to the effect that there will be a petition between the disbelievers and the believers, or something to that effect, and I couldn't find it. And I thought maybe you might be able to find it.
Okay. Well, remind me Sunday or tomorrow in prayer service. I haven't looked that up. I wish you had said something while the class was still going.
You were going.
Well, okay. Well, you know,
Yes, sir.
you know, that's, you know, that, you know, we know that Allah have said, this day art thou debarred from thy Lord. As you know, that's what damnation is. A dam is a wall that keeps water from coming forth. It dams it up, it holds it back. And everyone that refused to accept the truth, then the reason that most of them refuse to accept the truth is because they have deluded themselves into thinking that they know something better than me. And so that which they think they know damns them up. It holds them back. You see, that they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in their unrighteousness. But yes, I will go into it and find some of the places where it teaches you that. So, but all of you keep coming to class, and know this, does you no good to come to my class if you're not going to obey me. All you're doing is drinking damnation to yourself. Because you hear me and then you disobey. Whosoever eateth this bread and drinketh of this cup and is not worthy is guilty of the body and the blood of the Lord and his Christ. That's written, you know. Maybe not in them exact words, but it's sure in there. So if I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not been guilty. But now you don't have no cloak. So pay attention, learn with me, and grow with me so that we can live together. So may Allah bless us all and keep us safe and in our right minds. May Allah's salam alaikum.